Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we are going to take a mid-July garden tour of the Proven Winner Signature Garden here at Creekside Nursery. Of course, this garden is open to the public anytime that Creekside Nursery is open, Wednesdays through Saturdays, 9 to 3. We would love for you to come and walk through the gardens. This is a display garden, really featuring a wide range of Proven Winners, annuals, perennials, shrubs, and yes, even some trees, because we want to showcase those plants that really thrive here in North Carolina, a Zone 8A. If you're not familiar with Dallas, North Carolina, we are just west of Charlotte, so very close to Charlotte. So if you're in the area, we would love to have you. We do this garden because we do want to showcase these plants that do really well here in the Southeast, that can handle the heat and humidity of July and August in our lovely climate. So that is what we're going to do today. We're going to walk through. Hopefully our goal is that you find a plant or two plants or a design idea that you can implement into your garden. Whether you are in North Carolina, the Southeast, or on the other side of the country, or even on the other side of the world. We do these videos to educate you and to inspire you, give you ideas that you can then translate, tweak, make your own, and add them to your own garden. So without further ado, let's get going. We are grateful that it is a cloudy day here. Because the heat, man, she has been cranking. We've been getting some good rain, and so it's a nice cloudy day. It's a great day to do a video. Here at the entrance to the Signature Garden, what is in full glory right now that I think grabs most people's attentions are the beautiful Little Lime Punch hydrangeas. These are great Panicle hydrangeas. They pretty much kind of range in that 3 to 5 foot tall and wide. They are in all of their glory right now, and just fantastic. I love Little Lime Punch. It's probably one of my all-time favorite hydrangeas because it is so beautiful, so showy, and it has those massive heads that are really nice and strong and sturdy. We got a ton of rain, heavy rain, just like 2 days ago, and these did not flop. They are nice and strong, and of course they start out a little bit on the lime side, and then they turn to a beautiful kind of an iridescent creamy white, and these guys are already taking on some pink hues. So we love Little Lime Punch. Of course, Panicles love the sun. They bloom every year. So we're really happy with how they're doing, as are the Sprinter boxwoods. So the idea in this area is that we will have a beautiful hedge of the Sprinter boxwoods and those Little Lime Punches, that they will just be starting to kiss each other at maturity. Sprinter boxwood is a great shrub that could do sun or shade. We prune it once a year. Could probably go ahead and prune it twice a year, because what we're going to try to do is make this into a nice hedge. And then in the front we have the Supertunia saffron finch. So the saffron finch is telling me that she needs a little bit of attention. So what does that mean? Because earlier, probably guys, even like later June, just a couple of weeks ago, super just covered in flowers. So what do we do? Because in North Carolina, we have the heat, we have the humidity, we have a very long growing season. So for our petunias, around that July 4th time, it's kind of that time where we say, okay, we need to do some maintenance on them. We need to do some maintenance on these guys. So what we're going to do is come in here and trim them back, get them out of the boxwoods, cut them on the front, come around the side. So we cut all this off that's on the wall, and then go to the front and cut all that back too. And then of course that liquid fertilizer. So Supertunias, petunias, your super bells, your calibrachoas, heavy feeders. They love that lots of food to give gorgeous flowers, and they bloom on new growth. So if you're starting to look a little thin, they're not as covered in flowers, give them a prune, give them a haircut. You don't have to be precise, people, just cut them and then fertilize them. So down on the front side, what we have on, we kept it simple this year. So on the 4 corners of the walls, we have, these are all new introductions this year. So we have the Supertunia Mini Vista Plum Veined Petunia. Then we have the Virtuoso Pinkerific Dahlia, and then this hydrangea is kind of swallowing up the Unplugged So White salvia. So this is a great salvia that is nice and more petite, huge pollinator attractor, Love this. And then coming down the front, we have the Superbena Pink Cashmere. So Superbena Pink Cashmere is a very vigorous plant. We planted a single row of them. They're probably spaced about, I think it's like every foot apart from each other. So the verbena is telling me also it needs to be pruned up a little bit. So we can come in and kind of cut it from the back. Don't be afraid to prune these annuals, y'all, especially if you have a long growing season like we do. They need to have little haircuts sometimes. They will definitely benefit from that. Now, of course, the 4 outside beds within the formal part of the signature garden, this is where we showcase those perennials and the shrubs. And then on the 4 inside, we have the annuals, and they're all planted the exact same. So we have, right now, we've got that, this is a little lime punch as well right here. So we've got that, a beautiful specimen of that little lime punch. And then in each bed, we also have a summerific hibiscus. So in this bed, it is the summerific edge of night. Oh my gosh, y'all, between the Panicle hydrangeas and the hibiscuses, my gosh, they are putting on quite the show right now. There is a bloom. Jerry's going to come around here and find it, and there is a beautiful bloom in this edge of night that is kind of hiding at the moment. Edge of night is going to be a little bit more of that gumdrop, short and wide, has that nice pink flower on it, but love that dark foliage. So we've got that, and then this is a Limelight Prime. So we've got a Limelight Prime Panicle hydrangea. They're going to be a little bit more upright than wide. So if a Limelight is too big, but you need something a little bit bigger than like the little Lime Punch, try that Limelight Prime. Really fun. But you know, in here, like we've got the gardenias. They've kind of stopped blooming a little bit for this season. We've got Monardas, we've got the phlox, they're doing well, the Baptisia, all sorts of fun things, because here in the gardens, we really do try to have interest throughout the entire growing season, especially in that spring, early spring, summer, fall, and then into winter, because we're not really open right in those later months. We're not focused as much on that, but of course we do have that winter interest. Now, let me hit this bed right here, because once you see one of the annual beds, then they're kind of all the same. But my gosh, y'all, look at this. Is this not just beautiful? We have a lot of other new introductions in here this year as well. The big star of the show is this coleus. This is the Color Blaze coleus. This is the Mini Me Chartreuse. So Mini Me is going to stay nice and petite, and it is a gorgeous color display with the Aromagica purple. This is a heliotrope, new this year, huge blooms on it, how they're kind of interacting together. And then of course the salvias. This is the Playing the Blues. There we go. Playing the Blues at salvia. And do you see all the bees? I mean, the bumblebees love this salvia. They absolutely just adore it. Even on a cloudy, semi kind of rainy day, they are loving it. So we've got those. Then we've got purple fountain grass. Now, purple fountain grass is going to be an annual, okay? But what we did is, because I really wanted to beef up this corner, so this is actually 3 plants. All of these plants that we planted were grande size containers. So just to give you an idea, same plants that you buy at the garden center, that's what we planted in here. So these 3 grasses together make a nice big impact. They're just now getting started. They are going to be big and beautiful for the season, but we love the plumes on these guys. Nice and soft and fluffy, great. Then on the corners, we were trying the new, this is the Stardiva Scaevola, and it's been a hit and a miss, I guess what you would say, right? It kind of goes back and forth. But the Scaevola is great for the sun. I think because sometimes we've had a lot of rain, maybe they get a little bit too much water, which Scaevolas tend to like it hot and dry. So we've got that. Then to tie in, we've got more of the dahlias are here. Now, if you notice that your dahlias kind of slow down in the heat, like if you're in a hot environment like we are, if you're in the south, southeast, those warm environments, and your dahlias kind of stop in the heat of the summer, they're not as prolific, just wait. Dahlias love it cool. So They did great in the spring. I found out last year they kind of took a break about this time, July and August, but come September, October, November, oh my gosh, they were stunning and gorgeous. So we've got that. And then we did the angel faces. This is the Wedgwood pink. It looks like she's about ready to have a little bit of a trim, a little bit of a haircut. Shot off some fertilizer to get her really strong blooming again. And then the Sunstar pink pentas really rose in there. So we've got those. Now, I'm gonna have Jerry, we're gonna kind of go back and come over here to this corner because we were talking about the summerifics. Look at Holy Grail. Is she just not fabulous? So Holy Grail is going to be also that gumdrop kind of shape to it. Has those really dark leaves. That's why I put both of the dark leaf hibiscus on this side, but those really gorgeous big red flowers on it. I mean, these are lovely size flowers. They last for a day. So like this is obviously one that's in full bloom today. This was yesterday's, right? And then this is gonna be tomorrow's. So they're constantly, yes, they only last a day, but they're constantly producing new flowers, especially the more moisture you give them, the faster they grow, the bigger they get, and the more prolific they are on their blooms. And having it paired with the barberry, this is the Sunjoy Citrus Barberry, beautiful color structure. Looking at it though, it's like, okay, so maybe in the fall, especially I've got one kind of tucked over here in the corner, we might need to take that and kind of scoot it up a little bit, right? Your garden is constantly growing and changing, so you got to tweak it sometimes. And then for my folks who have rabbits like I do, or you have deer pressure, let me introduce you to some alliums. Yes, these are ornamental onions. This is Serendipity, and Serendipity is in bloom. She's beautiful. We've got honeybees. I don't want to disturb them, but we've got honeybees all over these plants. They adore alliums. And Serendipity, because it is an onion, the critters don't like it. They don't like onions. So this is one of those that you can add to your garden along maybe with some other alliums and do really well for you in your garden. We've got the phlox. Look at this beautiful phlox. This is the Luminary Prismatic Pink, I believe it is. I always have to double check on we've got tags here for people. Yes, it is the Prismatic Pink. So the Prismatic Pink is that Panicle phlox. You can see it's nice and tall, covered in beautiful blooms. And yes, you can put pink and red right beside each other. It is okay. It is gorgeous. It's your garden. You get to do what you want to in that garden. So there you go. We have the Incredible Blush. So if you have those arborescent hydrangeas and they're starting to, you know, because they're earlier bloomers than the panicles, if you want to come in and kind of deadhead them, you absolutely can do that. We'll probably be doing that here within the next week. I'm not gonna prune it back terribly, but I may take off, you know, maybe 6 inches off of it just to kind of clean the plant up, make it look good. And there is that possibility that it can bloom for you again in the fall. All right, we're gonna take put a pause in the formal garden because we're right here. We're going to spin around and look at the garden that is part of the signature garden that is really focused on plants that like those wet feet. Now y'all, I'm all about messes and successes here, right? So we're gonna show you the good, the bad, and the ugly because we're gardeners, real gardeners just like you. So there are messes and there are successes in this bed. So this garden was developed in mind with those plants that like to have wet feet because we have springs all through here. When it rains, which it just did, you know, really big rain, you can see how wet all of this is. This is not irrigation. There's no irrigation on this. This is wet stuff. So in here, we're focusing on those plants. So like we have the Joe Pieweed. This is Baby Joe. Now, this is not a Proven Winners. So in a Proven Winners signature garden, it doesn't have to be 100% Proven Winners. You just want to be well represented. And so because this is a wet area, the Joe Pieweed does really well. Of course, it's great for your pollinators. And this is Baby Joe, so it's not going to get massive like my Joe Pieweed. So planted this last year, doing really well, gorgeous. I've got bees asleep on here. course, it's great for the butterflies, all of those great things. But this is a wonderful native plant that you can add to your garden, that wet area. We have got the little cookies and cream. So this is a summerific. These are, y'all, these are little. We grow plants just like y'all do. So summerific cookies and cream has that dark foliage, but that pure white flower. And you've got a little bumblebee in there that I think is just now waking up. So this too will be that kind of that gumdrop, very much like the Holy Grail and the Edge of Night. Beautiful size on that. And then y'all look, she's in bloom. So here we have the Vanilla Spice Clethra. This is a summer sweet Clethra, summer sweet, same thing. And so this is a massive, another pollinator attractor. We love our pollinators. It has called a summer sweet because these blooms smell so good. Beautiful white flowers, and then in the fall, it is going to have bright yellow foliage on it. So Clethras, love those wet feet, doing really well. We've got the Webmaster. This is the spiderwort. Doing great. We've got pitcher plants. So down here, I'll let Jerry they're kind of tucked in here. So these are pitcher plants. They're not proven winners, but again, they love it wet. These come from our friends at Walter's Gardens. I believe this is bug bat. And so they are these plants, these perennials that love the damp conditions. And so they're kind of like carnivorous plants. So what happens is they make this sweet sticky substance down in the tubes that attracts little gnats, little bugs, and so the bugs will go in there, they get trapped, and then the plant breaks down the body of the bug and eats it. That's their food source. It's the coolest thing. So we've got bug bat right here, doing great. Brandywine, viburnum, you've got the winter berries here that will give us gorgeous fall winter foliage, well, not really foliage, berries, because they're called a winter berry because they've already put on their berries right here. They're green right now, no big deal, but in the wintertime, they turn bright, bright red. So that winter berry. So this is the female, which is berry poppins. We've got 3 berry poppins, okay? So you need a male plant to give you the berries. So we've got berry poppins, which is the female. And then we have Mr. Poppins over here in the corner. So Mr. Poppins is not, we just need him for his reproductive services, and that is it. He's not going to produce berries. He's just going to be here to pollinate those other, the berry poppins, and so there you go. So that's why we have him here. And then the hostas, the ferns, astilbes. We did go through quite some excessive heat, gosh, the past really not quite a month with no rain. And so generally speaking, very proud of how everybody is doing. You have got the Charleston basket boy there with those mini hostas. You've got some guacamole hostas right here. Is this stained glass or guacamole? That is stained glass that Jerry was just showing you. But like if you have your hydrangeas, so this is the Let's Dance Ariba. Now Let's Dance Ariba, y'all, she's looking rough. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it because we had that heat and no rain. We should have been out here watering. We were too busy taking care of everything else, and we didn't. So if your macrophylla hydrangeas look like this, y'all come in and prune them back. Go ahead and clean them up. We've got new buds coming. So this is a reblooming hydrangea. You're gonna get a fresh flush of flowers, but this definitely can go ahead and get cleaned up, okay? So messes and successes, like I said, we're real gardeners just like y'all. Look at the butterfly, Jerry. Can you get it on top of the lilac crush? So this is lilac crush, which is massive, and there's a beautiful yellow swallowtail that is just, I'm not sure what she's doing. She's just sitting there. But I hope I think she's just taking a little break right there. Yep, there she was. So lilac crush is massive. She loves this spot, y'all. I see some Japanese beetles on her. The Japanese beetles do like the summerific hibiscus, so sometimes you might need to go ahead and treat them We use a systemic, the plant soaks it up. We don't spray them. But this has gotten massive, and I think this is bigger probably than everybody else, because when it does rain, the water comes down here and it gets tons and tons of water. Now, here we have got, this is kind of a mess and a success all in the same plant. This is the proud berry. This is the coral berry. We've got 3 of them here. So I think you're supposed to prune them like in the spring, and I didn't. It's too late to do it now because they are already forming their berries. So you get this plant, it's much like the winterberry, because it'll form these really pretty pink berries on it. And so they're huge because I did not prune them. I should have pruned them. But now they're putting on their berries, so it's a mess and a success all at the same time. You can have those in the same area in the same plant. So we're just gonna leave it. We're not gonna worry about it this year. We'll take care of it in the spring. Let's see, everybody's doing great here. Just kind of maintaining the plants. Back here in the back, we have the hedge of All That Glitters and Glows viburnum. These are great viburnums. They are deciduous, but you get color and interest for 3 seasons out of the year. All That Glitters and Glows, remember how I told you, like with the berry poppins, you need to have the male and the female to get the berries? Well, they took that idea and made it into one plant, because at first they did have an All That Glitters and All That Glows, and you had to have one of each in order to get the berries. So they were like, let's just see if we can combine the 2. So these are self-pollinating plants. You don't have to have a different viburnum. You can have just one. Excuse me. And so these were beautiful, like lacy white flowers. The berries are now forming, and they're going to be beautiful blue berries. Not a blueberry, but blue berries. And so these will get to be 4 feet tall and wide. In the meantime, while we're waiting on them to completely fill out, we have the campfire marshmallow. Campfire marshmallow is a sweet annual, nice and short and petite. That way I can let all the sun get into the viburnums. But you see that they have these really sweet little daisy-like flowers on them. The pollinators love them. They're very low maintenance. They're very easy. Even being a Biden or a bidden, however you want to say it, they are handling our heat and humidity well. We've not pruned them, and they're doing great, and it brings a nice kind of pop of white in this space right here. Let's come over here. So we talked about, we had Valentine's Crush. Well, in this, Lilac Crush. I always do that. I don't know why I do that. So that's Lilac Crush. Then over here we have Valentine's Crush. You would think I would know that because Valentine's is red. So both the crushes are very upright. Now again, we've had kind of cloudy, rainy days for the past 2 days. So we're not having tons of blooms on it right now, but nice upright habit with those red blooms. And then we have got, this beautiful hydrangea right here. And honestly, y'all, I'm trying to remember which one this one is. I think it might be Quickfire Fab, because that's the only one that makes sense. I have lost my tag, but I'm pretty sure this is Quickfire Fab. Nice kind of upright, nice big, beautiful heads on them, just gorgeous. Your panicles, we just did a hydrangea tour, so if you missed that hydrangea tour, you can go check that out, where we showcased all the hydrangeas here on the property that are sun-loving, because that's what's blooming right now. Now, on the creek bank bed here, this is the bed, even though this garden, this is the 3rd summer? Second summer? Second summer. It is the 2nd summer. Time starts to get away from me sometimes. The 2nd summer, last year this poor bed flooded like 3 times, and so of significant properties were kind of lost in here. And so for this to be doing this well this year, we're pleased with it. Does not have irrigation on this bed, but you can see we've got the Senorita Rosalita Cleome in the back, using those annuals to kind of fill in while you're waiting on your perennials and your shrubs to fill in. So this is a great space filler with the Senorita Rosalita Cleome. We've got more of the dahlias, repeating those dahlias throughout the entire bed. We do have rows of Sharons in the back, so we've got those. And then as we come around to this bed, it's kind of the nook, as we say, we transition from the Senorita Rosalita to the Senorita Blanca Cleome. So they're basically the exact same, they're just different colors. So you have the pink and you have the white. This is a great, like, easy, low maintenance annual that will give you height and color in your garden. Now this bed has been a massive, huge success. We planted this early in the season. This is not on irrigation. So the only water that this has received has been rain. We did have a really nice, in the spring, consistent rain, which certainly helped get everybody established. But as you can see, we have got beautiful the sun patience in there. I believe it's the orchid, and so just putting those in there gives us just gorgeous bright kind of pops of color. So you see this from a distance, so we went with that lighter color so it would really show up really well. We've got in the back, of course, the Cleome, more of the salvia, and then it's kind of getting hidden a little bit, but we've got the vitex, the chase tree, that's the rock steady. So that is definitely a perennial shrub, so it will get it to be like a small tree. It is a fast grower. The Cleome is kind of hiding it a little bit, so that says to myself, next year, let's not put the plants so close to that so it has plenty of room to grow. Another huge, great success story, she's not blooming right now. I think she's finally quit for the season. She was blooming like crazy. This is Aphrodite, okay? And so Aphrodite is a gorgeous native shrub. It is fantastic because it does these beautiful ruby flowers on it. And y'all, she has doubled in size this year, has gotten massive. They'll be 6 to 10 feet tall and wide. And so she is just, she is unbelievable. So we're letting her do her thing right here. And then we have the Winecraft Black Smoke Bush. This is one that we added this year to kind of bring in a different color here. So we have the smoke bush here because we have a forest pansy on the other, not a forest pansy, a red bud on the other end. And so this smoke bush will give us lots of color and structure. It'll be in that 6 foot range as well. So again, while you're waiting on your shrubs to fill in, come in and use these annuals as those fillers to bring you those beautiful pops of color. Speaking of shrubs, we did a mass planting of the Tough Stuff hydrangeas. So Tough Stuff is a great serrata hydrangea. Means it's a lace cap, so it's not that mop head. But we did, oh my gosh, I don't know how many, literally we had these hydrangeas probably for a couple of years, and they had not sold and they were desperate to get out of their containers. So I went and found every single Tough Stuff that we had and planted them. We probably have somewhere between like 15 of them. So these are lace caps, beautiful. They're pH dependent. Because we have such acidic soil, they're going to be more in the blue-purple size, but 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. So the idea here is that this will be a mass planting. Like, it just looks like this huge, one big hydrangea that comes through here. And then because we used the mini-me chartreuse in the formal part of the garden, we also brought it over here and put it in front of the Midnight Express red bud. So Midnight Express is a red bud from Proven Winners, and then we just filled in with that mini-me chartreuse. Of course, kind of did it in that triangle shape, just filled in. We've not pruned it, we've not deadheaded it. It is just a fantastic, we've had wind, we've had rain, nice and strong and sturdy in here and doing really, really well. Because we loved it so much and because we had plenty of it, we went ahead and brought it over to the other side here as well. So those of you that follow us, we have in the late winter, Jackson, our 15-year-old son, cleared out the hill here on the woods, and so we're going to develop this garden this fall. We're going to plant, we have beautiful trees and shrubs to put in here, so that's going to be a really fun project. So we did go ahead, he cleaned it out for us. We planted a couple Japanese maples. We have some Kusa dogwoods in here. And so the trees are doing great, which is wonderful considering, again, not on irrigation, and we're just letting these babies just grow and do their thing. They have done really, really well. Very pleased with how well they're doing. And so all of this will be developed into a woodland garden. As we plan on it, no irrigation, because we want to give you options of, you know, this is what's on irrigation and this is what's not. So this will be a beautiful woodland garden. Mornings, a little bit of morning filtered sun, and then shade in the afternoon. Again, messes and successes. The success is the coleus. The coleus is doing great here. It loves it. The surefire begonias, yeah, they're struggling. They're struggling. They are. I mean, let's just be honest, Jerry's kind of like shrugging. But you know what? It is what it is. So no irrigation. And then honestly, I think most of it was our fault because we didn't get mulch on these right away. And so they kind of dried out a little bit. But that's okay. We're just going to focus on, they're coming back. Yeah, they are coming back. With the rain we've gotten and then we added that mulch on there, probably wouldn't hurt to have a little fertilizer added to them, a little slow release on there, and they'll be doing just fine. So the state of the gardens, they are doing great. Absolutely love them. To say that, yes, this is only the second summer of the entire garden. It would have been 3 years ago that we began construction on this garden. So it is doing well. Remember, gardening will teach you patience, my friends, right? So the first year, it sleeps. I just tell people, keep it alive. If you can keep it alive the first year, then you're doing great. The second year, they creep. You get some growth on them. You start to see things. They're doing great. The third year, they leap and they take off and are just stunning for the rest of, just continue to grow. So gardening teaches you patience, and your garden, you're going to have messes and successes, and you're going to lean into those successes, and you're going to learn from your messes and have lots of fun, right? Gardening, it should be fun. So if you have found this fun, informative, inspirational, we would love it if you would like and subscribe to Garden Creekside. That way you don't miss those 5 videos that we do each and every week. Y'all have an amazing day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.